Okay, this video's objective is I can determine angle measures when parallel lines are intersected by a transversal. Okay, let's do a really quick review. Okay, so we know that from our lesson the other day when we were learning about the different relationships, we learned that corresponding angles are congruent, alternate interior angles are congruent, alternate exterior angles are congruent, and consecutive interior angles are supplementary. We also know from previous lessons that vertical angles are always congruent whether we have parallel lines or not, and linear pairs are also always supplementary. Okay, so in order to find measurements, you must be given one measurement. So in this case, we've been told that angle 1 is 65. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to write 65. Okay, so when I approach a problem like this, I always start looking for what is congruent to my given angle. Okay, so I know that angle 1 and angle 5 are congruent because they are corresponding. And I know that 1 and 7 are congruent because they are alternate exterior angles. And I know that 5 and 3 are congruent because they are alternate interior. I also know that 3 and 1 are congruent because they are vertical. Okay, so I'm going to take a quick look, and that looks like about everything that I can see that is congruent to angle 1. So now I'm going to go to the fact that I know that consecutive interior angles are supplementary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 180 minus 65, and I get 115. So 4 and 5 are consecutive interior, so I know angle 4 measures 115. So I'm going to write consecutive interior. Okay, so now I go back to what is congruent to 4. Well, I know 4 and 6 are congruent because they are alternate interior. And I know that 4 and 8 are congruent because they're corresponding. And I also know that 6 and 8 are congruent because they are vertical. And I know that 2 and 6 are congruent because of corresponding angles. And because 2 and 4 are vertical. Okay, so next, let's look at one that's a little bit more complicated. All right, so the first thing we need to know, which lines are parallel? All right, so we know this line and this line are parallel because of the double arrows. All right, so if you remember back to the activity when we were looking at the relationships and we had that one activity that had all those different parallel lines and transversals, I told you to just focus on one transversal at a time. So in this case, we're going to focus on this transversal right here. All right, so we've been told that angle 7 is 38 and angle 10 is 102. All right, so the transversal that I am focusing on contains 10. So I'm going to write 102. And then I just go back through like I did before. So I know 10 and 4 are congruent because they're corresponding. So 102. All right, and then I know that 4 and 12 are congruent because they're corresponding as well. I know that 2 and 12 are congruent because they are consecutive interior. Okay. All right, so let me take a look here. It doesn't look like I can see anything else. So now I'm going to take the fact that consecutive interior angles are supplementary. So I'm going to go 80 minus 102, and I get 78. All right, so I know 3 is 78 because those are consecutive interior. Now I go back to looking for congruent angles. Well, 3 and 9 are congruent because they are consecutive interior. I know that 9 and 1 are congruent because of they are corresponding. And then I know 1 and 11 are congruent because they are alternate exterior angles. So let's make sure we got them all, because that's getting a little convoluted. Let me just erase some of that. Okay, because that was getting a little convoluted. All right, so we have 1, we have 2, we have 9, we have 10. 10 was given. Okay, we have 4, we have 3, we have 12, and we have 11. All right, so I'm going to leave the other one for you to do in your quizzes or your Wayground now as some interactive questions, okay? After you get done with this, upload your notes, bring them to me and show me, and I will give you your next assignment. Until next time, bye.